Good morning. It's our big honor to participate in this conference, especially in the session dedicated to student engagement.
Good morning. Our presentation is about an international project during COVID time incorporated into formal studies prepared by a lecturer, Jakub Brdulak, and students, my organization. Without this collaboration, the project would not be created. It is also a story of building a quality culture based on trust. Jakub, would you say a few words about yourself?
Thank you, Agnieszka. I'm an associate professor at SGH, Warsaw School of Economics. At the same time, I'm rector's proxy for quality of education. I cooperate with CEPS, University of Twente. I'm also representing Poland in Bologna follow-up group for quality assurance and in the project Microball. Agnieszka, would you now introduce yourself?
Thank you, Jakub. I'm a third-year student of Quantitative Methods in Economics and Information Systems at SGH Warsaw School of Economics. I represent students as a Vice President of the Students' Union, member of University Senate, and head of the Committee for Teaching Quality. I also used to be Forum Manager at Chinese-European Partnership for Development, External Cooperation Team Leader at Debate Project, and the Project Manager of International Picnic at SGH Warsaw School of Economics. We divided our presentation into 4 sections.
In the next 2 slides, we briefly present our project.
Then we summarize key elements of threshold concept of learning, which was the basis for the project.
In the third section, we present our conclusions, including linkage between VPRR project and quality assurance. The last slide presents the question to you. It's an invitation to discussion.
We are going to close our sections with questions to students and lecturers, where Jakub will answer as the lecturer and I will represent students. Please look also at the bottom of our slide, where we place in italics on the light green background opinions of students who participated in the project.
Few words about the project. The essence of the project was to create teams consisting of students from SGH, Warsaw School of Economics, and Athena School of Management from India, Mumbai. It's important that as part of the implementation of their subjects, the students must complete some projects that required research. VPRR enables the exchange of data and information between Poles and Indians. Thus, through the implementation of projects, it was possible for teams from 2 different cultures to cooperate, which leads to a better understanding of cultural backgrounds and diversity. In the projects participated 66 students, 36 students from India and 30 students from the Warsaw School of Economics, mostly Poles. The collaboration lasted only 1 month. Month May was dedicated to it. Students delivered 10 reports, 1 paper in a non-scientific journal, and they started a student initiative in Mumbai based on the experience collected in Poland. There were 3 milestones to achieve. By the first, it was preparation by Polish students and invitation to projects to Indian students. The second was in the middle, where students reporting their final subject and inform about teamwork. And the final milestone was the report with feedback. The project was classified by CIMAN accreditation agency as a good practice during COVID time. On the CIMAN's page, there is a more detailed description of the project.
And now, first question for Jakub. Is this project transferable beyond original context?
In my opinion, yes. The first project I have run at the University of Social Sciences and Humanities in Warsaw with a German higher education institution from Heidelberg, almost 2 years ago. So when the COVID was completely unknown. Nowadays, I think because of COVID, this type of project may replace a little bit of the international mobility of students who mostly stay at home. And I see no barriers to transfer this idea to other universities. The crucial is the engagement of lecturers from 2 institutions and then engagement of students. And now I would like to ask you about the students' perspective. What was the role of Students' Union in this project?
Usually students sign up for courses via Dean's office. However, in case of virtual program Real Results, part of the Polish students came from courses taught by Professor Brdulak, while the other part was recruited by the Students' Union. Given the pandemic conditions, the only effective way to encourage students to take part in such innovative program was by the internet. As an entirely student organization, Students' Union ensured the proper promotion of the project among students who might be interested in participating in it, taking on the burden of recruiting candidates and thus ensuring a non-administrative recruitment path.
What were the assumptions of building this type of project from my perspective? I've tried to translate the theoretical threshold concept of learning into practice. Quoting Professor Ray Land, a threshold concept can be considered as akin to a portal, opening up a new and previously inaccessible way of thinking about something. It represents a transformed way of understanding or interpreting or viewing something without which the learner cannot progress. As a consequence of comprehending a threshold concept, there may thus be a transformed internal view of subject matter, subject landscape, or even world view. This transformation may be sudden, or it may be protracted over a considerable period of time, with the transition to understanding proving troublesome. Such a transformed view or landscape may represent how people think in a particular discipline or how they perceive, apprehend, or experience particular phenomena within that discipline, or more generally. In other words, the idea of threshold concept of learning is delivering adventures to students, so it's based on projects.
Jakub, how to incentivize professors to offer project-based courses instead of traditional lectures completed with paper-based exams?
This type of project provides a fun factor for all sides involved in it. Professors have similar benefits to what students have. Without leaving home, they can meet students and lecturers from different cultures with different experiences. I think that there is a group of lecturers at each university interested in this type of opportunity, but they have to meet. On the other side, this type of class is more demanding than normal classes. So, a higher education institution may create some incentives for professors interested in incorporating this type of project into their lecturers. But I think a higher education institution may start with supporting lecturers in designing this type of programs. For example, may use the Erasmus agreements with other institutions and try to promote. So two professors interested in this type of project could meet. Agnieszka, now it's your turn. What is the main advantage of this project from the student's perspective?
Even if we live in a very globalized world in which state borders are no longer relevant, and we can meet people from all over the world thanks to social media, most students, both from India and Poland, underline in their final survey that the possibility to collaborate with their peers from such different countries regarding culture and customs was the main advantage of the project. It showed us once again that international projects are worth doing, and frequently students indicate them as the best experience at the university. Another advantage was students' freedom. It doesn't happen very often that students have possibility to select the subject of research or even the final form of the results delivery. In case of the VPRR, lecturers gave students this opportunity. It proved that allowing students to decide what the research subject is and how they are going to present final results could be one of the most enriching part of the project. Thinking about the structure of the VPRR, it can be associated with the high-impact practice defined by George Koo and his colleagues. Defined as a practice that achieves deep learning, significant engagement gains, and positive differential impact on historically underserved student populations. In detail, all HIP share key elements, such as significant investment of time and effort by students over an extended period of time. And in case of the VPRR, obviously this condition is met. Students work intensively. first on their research and then on the final reports. The project lasted 1 month, so the deadline was very short, and they had to intensify their activities in the given period. High-level expectations are the next feature of the HIP, and those were set by the lecturers at the beginning of the project. The second pillar, namely peer cooperation and experiences with diversity, were naturally provided by the international collaboration of 2 universities from 2 continents. The last important part was constant feedback, combined with real-world application, and it was ensured by the lecturer's attitude, who did not leave students alone, but they accompanied students during the project, setting milestones to achieve. While real-world application was guaranteed by the form of final results delivery, we enforced creating comprehensive report with practical application.
Few words about quality assurance and the VPRR. Quality assurance was not directly involved in the project. The project was designed by lecturers and students, so it had a bottom-up approach. The idea was to reach maximal value for students in the teaching and learning, but the significant role played quality culture based on students. SGH Warsaw School of Economics has a unique teaching and learning environment where students choose their studies path. Our present challenge is promoting this type of project among lecturers of SGH Warsaw School of Economics and adjust our quality assurance systems to increase benefits for lecturers. For example, at SGH Warsaw School of Economics, we are starting a continuous series of open seminars for the society of our university and broader for everybody interested in enhancing teaching and learning. These debates will be coordinated by our Quality Assurance Unit, and the case of collaboration between SGH and Athena will be given under discussions. We believe that one of the aims of the quality assurance system is to support this type of project and create room in the formal program studies for them.
Given the students' autonomy to choose project subject and form of final results delivery, how was the appropriate monitoring of learning outcomes ensured?
I would start answering this question by stressing that this bottom-up approach was very characteristic of the project delivered by the Warsaw School of Economics with Athena. But the first project, run with a German university, had more fixed frames. We compared the learning outcomes of our courses and the verification methods. Based on this analysis, we agreed on the form of passing our joint course. The European higher education area language and framework made us the process of designing the joint course easier. With Athena, we didn't agree on joint learning outcomes, but we agreed on individual recognition of learning outcomes. So my students, especially regular course students, thank the project were achieving the learning outcomes from the syllabus of my course. The students recruited by the Students' Union didn't have formal learning outcomes to achieve, but there was a quite detailed roadmap where there were highlighted milestones to complete, the requirements to get a certificate at the end of the project. I would like to stress that although lack of very formal frames of assessment, all students delivered what it was expected from them. For me, it means that the project was interesting for them and they saw personal value in participation. Agnieszka, what were the most surprising results of the research projects?
All the research projects were completed with final reports. Each of them dealt with entirely different topic, starting from business-oriented projects to society-oriented reports. The report, titled The Results of the Polish Hindi Movement Project, offered considerable insight into methods of learning which could be transferred between universities. The most frequently emphasized practice was to change written assignments and paper-based exams to projects, which enhance students' creativity, develop their social skills, which are often missing in the subject syllabuses, and let them solve real-world problems. Thanks to this report, we can come to the conclusion that students are eager for more engagement and cooperation in the courses. The main goal of this presentation was to present you our project in a deeper manner, to show you all the important aspects of it. And as a final part, we would like to pose 2 questions which are written on the slide. First, how to create supportive solutions in quality assurance for this type of project. especially syllabuses and learning outcomes. And second, how to develop such projects as an alternative to traditional forms of teaching in non-pandemic conditions. We consider them a valuable food for thought before the session on November 13th. Thank you for your attention and see you at the conference.
Maybe at the end of our presentation, I would like to thank the Students' Union of SGH. Without the support of students, the project was not successful. I think it is a good practice to building a quality culture focused on students, where the bottom-up approach has the same significance as the top-down, where the trust between lecturers from different continents and students and lecturers become the main fuel for cooperation. So, thank you for your attention and see you at the conference.